Well, in this video, this is going to be volume 2 of my series. I'm going to be going over 3 trapped in a room movies you should watch. 3 trapped in a room thriller suspense movies that you should watch. And we're going to get into that right now. Welcome to the DL Jones Show. I'm your host, DL Jones. And like I said, we're going to get into 3 movies, 3 trapped in a room thriller suspense movies. Before we get started, I want to let you know that if you like movies, videos about movies, suggestions, movie reviews, TV show reviews, stuff like that, make sure you give me a thumbs up and click subscribe so you'll know when I have more videos coming out. I post videos weekly. Make sure you stay to the end of the video because I know I said there's 3 on this list, but I'm going to have a bonus one here at the end. So make sure you don't want to miss that one. So let's just get in on this video. And the first movie I'm going to be starting with is a little movie I watched sometime early 2020, and this movie goes by the name of The Invitation. Like I said, the theme of this video is movies where people are trapped in a room, trapped in a location, trapped in a situation where they can't leave or they don't want to leave because something is keeping them there. It's sort of like a thriller suspense movie, and I pretty much enjoyed it. This movie stars Logan Marshall Green and a few other people. I'll have their listing from IMDb up on the list. And to go over the synopsis, as far as IMDb, it says a man accepts an invitation to a dinner party hosted by his ex-wife, an unsettling affair that reopens old wounds and creates new tensions. What does that mean? I don't know. You got to watch the movie to find out. But basically what this movie is about is that there's this guy and his girlfriend. They get accepted to a dinner party for the most part. And the dinner party is being held by his ex-wife. He kind of have some apprehensions about going to this dinner party. He don't really want to go there. A lot of people that are there are friends, but they are friends of his when he was married before. So they were like friends of his previous marriage. You know, he hadn't seen a lot of them in a long time. But after he gets there, it's like some weird stuff is going on. And this movie is crazy. It's really spooky. It starts off with just a dinner party with all of these different egos and personalities. And just some weird stuff is going on until they get to the point where they find that they are actually there for a reason. I'm not going to spoil the reason, but, you know, everybody is not in on it, but they get in the situation where they're all in this house. They're trapped in this house. And the name of this movie is called The Invitation. It was pretty good. It's pretty good. Had a weird storyline trying to figure out what's going on throughout this movie. But if you like movies where people are in a location and they're there for an ulterior reason and they don't know why they're there, and then it's slowly unveiled as the movie goes on. Of course, there's going to be some people getting killed, murdered, and all of that kind of stuff because it is a thriller. It borderlines on horror a little bit, but yeah, The Invitation, it was pretty good. I would say that's my number 1 as far as checking it out. And these are not listed in a order. This is just number 1 on the list that I'm talking about today. So that's the first one on my list, The Invitation. Go check it out. So the next movie on my list is one I also watched around the same time. And this is another one that I saw, my number 2 on the list. And this one is called The One I Love. And I know what you're thinking. It doesn't sound like a thriller. It doesn't sound like some kind of trapped in a room horror thriller suspense movie. But believe me, it is. It's one of those weird, spooky movies. Now, most of these movies like that, they usually star people that, you know, a lot of times you never heard of. But this particular movie actually starred some people that I've heard of before. It stars Mark Duplass, Elizabeth Moss, and Ted Danson. You know, all names you've probably seen before. If you don't know the name, if you see the image, their pictures, you're like, okay, yeah, I've seen that person before. But this movie, basically, it's a trapped in a house movie, kind of a little bit different, but and it's not like a straight up realistic thriller. It's sort of like some kind of supernatural stuff going on. But basically, if you go to the IMDb, the synopsis says a troubled couple vacate to a beautiful getaway, but bizarre circumstances further complicate their situations. Like a lot of these synopsises, it doesn't really tell you much, but I'm going to tell you what this movie is about. Basically, the 2 main characters, they're having like marital problems and stuff like that. So they decide to go on the recommendation of like their marriage therapist to this getaway. It's like they go to spend like a weekend in this estate, you know, just the 2 of them to try to rebuild their marriage again. But they get there and like some weird stuff starts happening, some supernatural stuff. And without spoiling it, you know, too much, you know, they run into another couple that isn't exactly, that's kind of in the same situation as them. And it's this big mysterious thing going on where they is not that they're trapped in this house, but they chose to be there because they're in a situation where they want to experiment with what they find in this house, some weird supernatural stuff. But it kind of bites them in the butt because they kind of get themselves in sort of like a triangle, and it includes, a bunch of little deception and some murders and stuff like that. It's pretty crazy. It's some crazy stuff going on. There's like duplicate people in this movie. They're manipulating each other without knowing that they're manipulating each other. It's just some crazy stuff. You got to check this movie out. It's called The One I Love. And even the title of the movie, without me spoiling it doesn't make any sense. But after you watch this movie, the title of this movie even kind of like plays on the storyline that goes in this movie, The One I Love, because, that is a problem. They kind of figure out which one is the one they love in this movie, which doesn't make sense me saying it here, but you got to watch the movie to find out. I'm going to look for links. I'm going to link it up in the description below if I can find links. If not, just do a Google search and you'll find it. But The One I Love is number 2 on my list. And now we're going to get to the third movie on my list. Okay, so this movie came out in 2016, the third movie on my list, and it was a pretty interesting movie. It's a thriller, just like the rest of them. It's this time they're trapped in a office building. The name of this movie is called The Belko Experiment. Now, this movie stars, it stars John Gallagher Jr., Tom Goldwyn, Adria Arjona. The name that I recognize the most as far as the image is John C. McGinley. Of course, we all seen him. He's been in a bunch of most of the time it's comedic stuff, but he's had some serious roles too. But basically, this movie is crazy. I'm not even going to go over the IMDb synopsis for this. I'm just going to tell you what this movie is about. Basically, it's at a workplace. It's at a high-rise office building, and there's a bunch of coworkers in this building. Then all of a sudden they come to work one day and the doors are shut, the windows are shut, they're all locked down, and a voice comes across the intercom, and what they have to do is basically kill each other. And these are just regular people. They're just regular people at this place, coming to work, but they're now told that they can't leave unless they kill each other. They have to kill each other. So you got all of these people that's like, no, I'm not doing it. And some people are like, oh, I am doing it because I'm getting out of here. But it's just crazy, crazy stuff going on in this movie. And it's just insane. It's one of these movies that you have to watch. It's a thriller. It's more of an action type thriller, a little bit of comedy in it, but it's a straight up serious movie. But yeah, the Belko Experiment. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun watching these trapped in a room type movies, especially ones where it's more action oriented and thriller based. But the Belko Experiment, go ahead and check that out. All right, so that was my three recommendations, trapped in the room, thriller, suspense movies for this video. But I did say I had a bonus one. I got one that I want to talk about. This isn't on my list because it's not really that much of a good movie. Not saying that the other ones are good movies too. They're just fun movies to watch. But this is another one. It kind of falls into that same situation. This is a movie that I watched several years ago. It's kind of a little bit older than the ones that I've been putting on my list. It came out in 2002. And this movie goes by the name of R.S.V.P. It stars James M. McChurch, Sharon Bruneau, and Scott Workman. I have no idea who any of these people are. But their faces were familiar. At least I do remember, being familiar with a lot of the characters. The main thing that made me watch this movie back then when I did watch it is that one of the actors in this movie is Jason Mewes. And if you watch Kevin Smith stuff, which I'm a kind of a fan of Kevin Smith movies, Jason Mewes is the guy that plays Jay in the Jay and Silent Bob movie. So he was in this movie, which is what made me watch it. But it's a similar type of movie. A bunch of people, this time they're trapped in a house. It's sort of like a mix of the trapped in a room and a dinner party type thing. And basically what it is that a lot of these kids, they're like college students, and they all are like fascinated with serial killers. They take a class where they study serial killers and stuff like that. So one of the people that's throwing a party, they decide to try to imitate one of the serial killers that they were investigating, and they talk about it the whole time. And basically what the thing is that all of these people are at this house for a party, and the people that host the party, which I don't know if the people that host the party or somebody else. I do know, but I don't want to spoil it for you. But basically what they're doing is they're trying to reenact one of the serial killers. Now, the story of this serial killer is that the person killed someone and put them in a big trunk and sat it in the middle of the living room as sort of like a coffee table type decoration. The dead body is in this trunk, and invited the whole family over and had a party, you know, while the dead body of their family member is in this trunk. So that's what this movie is supposed to be about. But it goes, you know, and I think that was done, and it goes awry, and it's just it comes into a situation where you got a bunch of people that's at this house party thinking they're there just to have drinks and stuff, but now they're fighting for their lives, trying to figure out what's going on and why they're there, and catching on to all of the crazy stuff that's going on. And the name of this movie is R.S.V.P. It's a lot of fun. You know, it's not that great of a movie, but it's a lot of fun. It's worth a watch if you like those type of trapped in the room movies. So there you have it. My 3 suggestions for trapped in the room movies and a bonus movie. And thank you for watching. Volume 3 is coming soon. I got 3 more movies I'm gonna tell you about. And thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Congratulations, you made it to the end of the video. While you're here, why don't you check out that video right there? Or maybe that one right there. And while you're at it, go ahead and click that little picture of my image there and subscribe to my channel.